Awesome. We are going to be looking at a very essential skill for doing evangelism, and this is the ability to find new contacts who are interested in hearing the gospel, the products or services or opportunities that you have to offer. As we are looking at this entrepreneurial evangelism, we are looking at this skill of what it's called in this book, GoPro by Eric Worre, that it's called finding prospects, where really the principles here we are able to extract, and we can apply this to finding contacts and people who want to hear the gospel. Jesus said, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." But the question is, how are we going to reach all nations if we don't go out and go in contact with people? Christ's method alone is going to bring true success. And in his method, he mingled with the people as one desiring their good. And he ministered to their needs, and then he won their confidence, and then he bade them, "Come follow me." So what we're looking at today is that portion of Christ's method where he mingled with the people. We're going to be looking and gaining some skills of how we can mingle with others for the purpose of blessing them, offering them salvation, offering them gospel, offering them a service or something that we have to offer. That's what we're looking at here. And prospect, of course, is anytime that you hear the word prospect, you could replace it with a potential student, potential volunteer, potential convert, potential Bible study contact, whatever you have to offer. Every time you hear prospect, it's just someone who may be a good fit for what you have to offer. So it's like our avatar. It would fit something like that. So go ahead, we can hit play.
Chapter 4, Skill Number 1, Finding Prospects. When people look at network marketing, one of their big questions is, do I know anybody? They believe if they know a lot of people, they can have lots of success. And if they don't know a lot of people, they don't have a chance. It sounds logical, but it's just not true. As I mentioned in Chapter 2, there are 3 kinds of people in network marketing: posers, amateurs, and professionals. When it comes to finding prospects, the posers will make a mental list of 3 or 4 or 5 people they hope will join their business, and their entire future is based upon the response of those few people. If they're lucky enough to get one of them, they can extend the life of their career for a short time. They might even make another mental list of 3 or 4 people. Hopefully, they'll eventually decide to stop being a poser and upgrade to the amateur ranks. Would it surprise you to know that approximately 80% of all the people who join network marketing approach the task of building a business as posers? It's true. 8 out of 10 distributors first approach their business with the poser mentality. They make a small mental list and see what happens. They never set out to develop the necessary skills. Your job is to make sure you're not one of them, and to help your team do the same. Educate people. Help them understand how powerful this opportunity can be if they treat it with respect. For the posers, their only real chance is luck, and that luck had better happen fast. The second group is the amateurs. Instead of a small mental list, these people make a written list, which is a step in the right direction. Let's say they make a list of 100 prospects. They charge out there with excitement, but not a lot of skill. They begin prospecting and their list begins to diminish. As it grows smaller and smaller, their anxiety grows higher and higher. Their biggest fear is running out of people to talk to. I know that was my biggest fear. In my early 20s, my list wasn't anything to brag about. As I mentioned before, I tried to use my parents' contacts at the beginning, and it didn't take long for me to run out of names. Soon everyone in my world knew what I was doing and had either said yes or no. It was scary. I felt like if I didn't find some great people from my list and find them soon, I was going to fail in this business. It never occurred to me that finding quality people to prospect was a skill. Up until this point in my career, I always viewed the list as the ticket to wealth. If you had a good list, you'd succeed. And if you had a bad one, you either had to get lucky or you'd fail. When I came to my defining moment and committed to become a professional, I began to study the people who built large and successful organizations. I found that the professionals approached finding people to talk to as one of their core skills. It was part of their job to find new people. They weren't interested in luck. They weren't worried about running out of people. They developed the skill to make sure that never happened. The professionals started with a written list, but then they made the focused commitment to never stop adding to the list. They created something called an active candidate list. And I'm going to show you how to do the same thing. One of the people who taught me how to do this well was Harvey McKay, author of the huge best-selling book, How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. Harvey is a good friend, and he's also one of the best networkers in the world. I once asked him how he built such a large and influential list of friends. He told me at the age of 18, his father sat him down and said, "Harvey, starting today and for the rest of your life, I want you to take every person you meet, get their contact information, and find a creative way to stay in touch." He's done that for over 60 years. And today his list of friends totals more than 12,000 people. And these just aren't social media friends. They're real friends. And I consider myself fortunate to be one of them. If you want to master this skill, follow these 4 simple steps. Step 1, make your list as comprehensive as possible. Include every person you can think of, every person. It doesn't matter if you think they are a prospect or not. Your database will be one of your most important assets. Everyone goes on the list. If they're negative, put them on your list. If you hate them, put them on your list. If they're your best friend, put them on your list. If they said, "I'll never be involved in network marketing," put them on your list. If they're 98 years old, put them on your list. If they're 18 years old, put them on your list. It's important to do this because as you empty your mind out on paper, it will make more room for new contacts to find room in there. When you write down your nephew, you begin to think about the circle of people around your nephew. All of these connections will become apparent to you as you make your list more and more comprehensive. Think about everything. Every organization you've ever been involved in, every group you've ever been a part of, everything you've ever done. If you do this right, it'll end up being hundreds and maybe even thousands of people. You're not required to prospect everyone on your list. That's up to you. But it's extremely important to do the work necessary to truly capture your network on paper. Step 2. Have you heard of the concept that we're all only 6 contacts away from any person in the world? 6 degrees of separation? I'm not sure if that's a myth or if it's true, but I believe in the concept. So step 2 is looking at your list and thinking about the people they know. The 2nd degree of separation. Chances are you'll know most of them also. Think about members of your family. Who do they know? Add them to your list. Think about your friends. Who do they know? Add them to your list. Think about all the relationships in your life. Who do they know? Add them to your list. Don't worry about what you're going to do with this list yet. We'll talk about that a bit later. Just keep building it. Step 3, constantly expand your list. This is why the professionals call this an active candidate list. It never stops growing. The pros have a goal to add at least 2 people to their list every single day. They may not prospect them, but as Harvey McKay's father said, they go on the list, and you should find a creative way to stay in touch. Harvey's book, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty, deals with this concept. If you think about this as a core skill, you realize it isn't very hard. You come into contact with people every day. Just add them to your list. You meet people through online social media. Add them to your list. You do business with new people. Add them to your list. My friend Jordan Adler is the author of Beach Money. He's also a 7-figure-a-year earner in network marketing. He's a master at step 3. He just lives his life and is always making new friends. And if you look at his business, almost all of the people he's recruited into his huge organization are people he didn't know before he started his network marketing business. He's a pro. Professionals develop a higher level of awareness. They pay attention to the world. They know they'll be introduced to new people all the time. Posers and amateurs don't even notice. They just go through their day saying, "What people? I don't see any people." How hard would it be to raise your awareness and add 2 new people a day to your list? Think about it. If you did that 6 days a week, that is over 600 new people a year. Do that for 5 years and it's over 3,000 people. Can you see why professionals don't worry about running out of people to talk to? Please understand, I'm not saying you should assault these people with your pitch the moment you're introduced. Some people in network marketing make that mistake and it's not good. Just add them to your list, make friends, develop a connection, and when the time is right, you can help them understand what you have to offer. Step 4, network on purpose. Professionals network on purpose. It's hard to meet new people if you're hiding from the world. Get out there, have some fun, join a new gym, have fun with a new hobby, volunteer for a cause that's important to you. Find places and organizations where you can meet new people. Not only will it be good for your business, but you'll also make some great friends.
go get my phone.
You guys want to unpack that one?
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
It sounds intense. Okay, so we're on. We're good to go. Still? Calm? Yeah. Okay. So let's do some. What stood out to you?
Let's see.
Pay attention to the people around you
Mm-hmm.
and find common ground and add them to your list and drip on them.
It's good.
And drip on them.
Yeah. Find creative ways to stay in contact, add value to them.
Got it.
That's what the drip system's for.
One thing that I found interesting was like, put everybody on your list.
Right.
Doesn't matter if they hate you, if they, just like anything, just like
Oh,
those who
the
you would not
youngest-
even consider as friends. Just put everyone on your list. And I'm like, and then after you put like everyone that you know, they're like, who do those people know? I'm like, your list is literally endless.
So who is it that says like I don't know any big people? Or like who do I know?
Yeah, the posers.
Who wants
Posers.
who can't see the berries?
I definitely
Amateurs.
see that. I've been a poser.
How many different types of people were there?
3.
What were those 3?
Poser and a
Amateur.
amateur and professional.
Which one do you want to be?
I'm just professional.
You know what really struck me is, when I was doing the isogenics and I look at my list, I recall my list, the people, there was a lot of people on there that I didn't even know before isogenics, but because of going out seeking, they're the ones that signed up.
Yeah, this is a principle of Matthew 7:7. Seek and ye shall find. It's true. What stood out to you, brother?
Well, and this is like, that gum is intense.
I know, I like it.
It's just like, it's so minty. It gets in my nose. Anyway,
Is that what stood out to you?
it's standing out to
We're
me.
standing out right now.
Yeah, so something that did stand out to me though is that this is easy. We just
Yeah.
want to work to complicate it, overcomplicating it in our minds, like trying to pre-filter the people we know and say like, oh, they won't be interested, they will, they won't. But you go and you live life and you meet people, add them to your list,
You make friends.
make friends.
He's like,
stay in
he was
contact.
like saying like, have fun.
That's another thing, like just having the wrong mentality towards it.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't be hunting.
Don't be a hunter.
Yeah,
Be a farmer.
Hunter versus farmer.
You just sowing seeds.
Yeah.
I believe that this activity here is one of the things that contributed to 3 years ago starting like the best years of my life, where each day is getting better than the last. Because I literally started being more intentional with my relationships. I started being more aware of who do I know and how can I keep in contact with them and how can I build relationships with people. Because I heard it once say that like the quality of our life is not about the length of time that we live it, but it is 2 things: the experiences that we have and the relationships that we develop, and how many of those are packed into the amount of time that we are here on earth. That's what improves the quality of our life. Our relationships, that's our network, and our experiences of life. And so when you start to view life of what's really valuable in life as like part of these as some of the contributing factors, then it really changes how you prioritize your list, your relationships,
Your relationships and what?
experiences.
The large marker?
Yeah, because
It's right on the table, right next to the white thermos.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Juggling the pen over there while I'm trying to grab it.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah. So have fun. Making friends is easy. We go to work to complicate it. I like that. That's a quotable framework. Those things are pretty cool. What stood out to you, Sister Theodora?
The idea of making friends, a lot of friends.
Yeah, a lot of friends. Do you think that Jesus was friendly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
Had droves of people following him.
Yeah, he sure did. Do you think Jesus was intentional with his relationships?
Amen.
Was he
definitely.
intentional with his conversations?
Even with his one soul audience.
Did he network on purpose?
Yes.
What's another word for network?
Word for souls.
For the fishermen, it's a work with a net.
Yeah, that's right. So network is really just relationships. Your network is who you know. It's your list. It's your people.
That's right.
It's the people that you know. It's true. So, how do what do the posers do with their list?
They just think of the few people that they know and give up
Where is their list?
In their mind.
in their mind, yeah.
How many of us still have our list in our minds? So that's 8 out of 10 of us.
Are you talking about me?
If the shoe fits, wear it.
You always say that. If the
What
shoe
do you
fits.
mean? Like that's 8 out of 10 of us.
The statistics.
People, yeah, 8 people out
Eight-
of 10
Oh.
80%.
don't write it down.
Yeah, they
That's
just
what
keep
you
it
were
in
working on
mind.
yesterday.
Yep, that's what I was working on yesterday. Yeah. Now, what do the amateurs do?
They
They write it down.
Yeah, they see that they need somebody, but they don't know how to do it.
No.
So I need to create an active contact list on Notion.
What
They
were you
go
saying?
out and seek their parents and friends.
The amateur, I think, writes the list, but they don't add to it. It's the
Do they write the list?
What Cameron and Kathy said is spot on. They do write a list.
They
They
do
have
write
a written list. So here's the thing. If you have a written list, you're an amateur.
Oh.
But how many people did he say they write on their initial list?
About
They're
100.
About 100. They might write their
their
first
friends and
100.
their parents.
Remember the ultimate memory jogger that I gave you, Cameron, a few
That's nice.
while ago? It's from the same author. This guy. And so with the ultimate memory jogger, he kind of put this chapter on finding prospects and the chapter on inviting, and he kind of put it together, and it has a list of 100. It's a memory jogger of everyone in every organization, every trade, everything that you've ever interacted with. It's all right there, and it's expansive. It's incredible when you see how many people are there.
It's amazing how many people you know.
Yeah, it really is. So if you have a list that's 100 or below, that's written, you're an amateur.
Well, you need more than 100, huh? And then you're getting
to keep
professional.
adding,
What is the biggest fear of the amateurs?
running out of
Running
the,
out of it.
Running out of people.
coming to the end of their list.
Yeah. What never occurred to Eric Worre while he was an amateur?
That he'd run out of. Oh,
Never to add to it.
yeah.
What was the epiphany that as an amateur he didn't get?
He didn't understand that everybody could be a prospect.
He didn't understand that.
To stay in touch with everybody.
Never meet a stranger.
Right here. This is what he said. He said, finding people. So when you're looking at networking, that's really just finding people. Finding people is a skill.
Skill.
That's it. It's a skill that we can and should develop for the glory of God. Oh, networking. You know what else networking is? It is the skill of influence. Your network is your sphere of influence. That's who you know. So finding people, meeting people is a skill that you can develop. It's not about who you know now, but it's who you meet and how you meet them and who they know that's going through the doorways.
Who you meet.
It's not about who you know, it's who you meet and how you meet them and who they know. And when you realize that, you start looking at your small groups a little differently, because your small groups are like, wait a second, you might be thinking like, I don't know a lot of people. Well, now we can remove that from our vocabulary, because that doesn't help us or the cause of God very well. And we can start realizing, or our little flock, it doesn't serve the people that we're seeking to bless. So finding people is a skill. So when we realize, wait a second, I can learn this skill, I can cultivate this skill of meeting new people and finding people like Christ mingled with the people as one desiring their good. He was never running out of people. There's an unlimited number of people, period. And you know, he has a course. He has a whole course just on having like unlimited number of people to talk to. And that's one thing when doing evangelism, I realized, that's why I love network marketing, because all the skills in network marketing are 100% completely transferable to what we do in ministry and evangelism and sharing. I go to churches and people are like, nobody's interested in the gospel. Like, there's no one interested. Like, how do we find the people? Where do we go? Like, we want to have an event. We have a message. We've been studying. Where do we find the people? Like, where do we go? And people don't realize, like, you have to go out. You have to meet people. You have to go talk to them. But
Cast the net.
this is a skill. Yeah, cast the net. So we have the internet. We have social networking. And that's what all Facebook and social media is. It's just network of people. So what do the professionals do differently than the posers and the amateurs?
They look 6 degrees.
They add to their list.
Mom, you're being creative, but that's not what I'm looking for. They what?
They add to their list.
They have a written list,
And they add to it.
and they add to it how often?
Daily.
Continually.
Daily.
Like 2 people a day.
And
At
they,
least.
At least
and
2
they
new
stay in
people a
touch
day.
with them.
And they stay in touch with
And
you.
it's not just who you know, it's who your people know.
Yeah, it's who they know. Yeah, it's true. Now, what is an active contact list?
It's an ever-expanding list of the people you know and the people they know.
Yeah. So finding people or a network, we'll say contacts. You know, in Bible work and evangelism, we always call them contacts. Just when we're going like house to house or we're sharing with people, it's just like, do you have your contact? Do you have your contact list? We all had a written list of the people we knocked on their door, what their address was, what their prayer request was, what Bible study we did with them. We have a list for each of the people that we're doing studies with. It's not just haphazard in the mental list of who do I need to do. We're literally operating from, it was a journal, a workbook that we carried with us as we went house to house. That's your contacts. And it's active because it's ever expanding. It's not a one and done thing. It's every single day. It is a lifestyle, it's a habit. I believe it is part of the character of Christ to meet new people. That's why I had to overcome my satanic shyness, because Christ was not shy. Christ was social. Christ loved people so much that he loved meeting new people, because he knew that whoever came in contact with Christ came in contact with the Father and everlasting life. In like manner, as Christ's representatives that we are, whoever comes in contact with us is coming in contact with Christ through us, the hope of glory. So we are seeking to reflect that character, and if we really care for souls or want to reflect Jesus, then we're going to reflect him to others. How did Harvey McKay build such a large list of influential friends?
Staying in touch with them.
How many people did he have on his friends list? And it's not Facebook, because Facebook, the friends list for Facebook is very little. But how many did he have? Do you guys remember?
I don't remember that number.
For some
Remember,
reason,
like, some-
6,000 comes to my mind, but I'm not
Like
sure.
3,000 comes to me.
12. Yes.
Oh, I'm like halfway there. My number.
So how many people does Facebook limit you to?
5,000.
Yeah, Facebook only gives you 5,000. That's very scarce. And that's like, Do we want to reach 5,000 people? Do we want to reach 12,000? Like, how many people do we want to share the gospel with?
All of them.
Legion.
Yeah.
Legions.
We want to lead. We right now we're starting with a legion of 6,000 gospel soldiers to go take the gospel to the world and equip them how to develop relationships, be intentional, using their relationships to lead others to Jesus. And we want legions after legions. So we have to expand our thinking and our mentality to realize that the more friends that we have, the more we're able to be a benefit and a blessing to others. That's why the friendship funnel is so helpful. Now, 12,000 sounds a lot. First time I heard that, I was like, whoa, that's intense. How do you do that? It's so cool. I listened to a podcast from him. I haven't got the book, How to Swim with the Sharks and Not Be Eaten Alive, but I want to read it. I just haven't been able to find the audiobook, and I want to read the book. How did he do that? Why did he do that? Let's start with the story. Why did he do that?
Dad told him to. When he was 18,
18
set him
years
down and said, I want you to do this every day for the rest of your life.
And he really took it.
He did.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you made a list of everyone you've ever did business with, you've talked to, you've met at the grocery store, you've seen at church,
People you love and you hate.
yes, every single person you know since you were 18 years old, started cultivating and writing a written list of those people
Oh, have mercy.
over the
That'll
years?
Be a lot of people.
That would be a lot of people. And that's what Harvey Mackay did. And he said that the phrase that speaks the most to me is find creative ways to keep in contact and add value to their lives.
Right.
That's the concept, dig a well before you're thirsty.
On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about intentionality. And like you said, I love this portion where that doesn't mean pitch the person whatever you've got to each person you meet as soon as you meet them. No, you're farming, you're growing.
Yeah, that's
So,
what
so your harvesting is going to be later. But why'd that stand out to you?
Don't just pitch him right away.
Yeah.
That's how we like drag people away. It's like Christ mingled with the people as one desiring their good, and then he.
It's that desiring their good.
Yeah.
Our motive of why we're building relationships can't be to sell them something or to get something from them. The principle of Satan is to get, but the principle of heaven is to give. So you always have to check your motives. You could be doing the right thing for the wrong reason, and God doesn't accept that. So we have to constantly be saying, why am I meeting people? Why? Motive matters. And why am I interacting with people, making a list? And our motive needs to be out of love. Something like, what do we have to give? We want to add value to other people's lives. And when you're seeking to add the value, then you're not just building a relationship just to give them something specific, but you're saying, like, what do I have to give? What can I offer? What were you want to say?
People pick that up immediately. Yeah. They know whether you care about them or whether you're trying to get something from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Jesus was so successful, because people could tell.
Yeah.
He loved them enough to give them.
That's right. And I like that. At first, what we lack in skill, we can make up in numbers. Because even that motive in like seeking to help people and encourage people and just like really, the more that you're able to practice and give and share and serve and impart and solve problems and listen and relate, tell stories, the more that you do that, you cultivate the skill and you get better and better. So if we're not good at something, just do it 12,000 times and then we'll get better along the way. That's why we have to commit. Like, we have these larger numbers at first so that we can understand this is a journey, this is a lifelong process. This isn't an event, this isn't like a quick fix. This is like you're committing to the skill of relationships, which is really the measure of quality of life. I like that. I really like the Harvey Mackay story.
Yeah.
What's step number 1?
Step number 1.
Write down the list.
Let me see. Make your list as comprehensive as possible,
That's right.
even if you hate them.
Yep. Even if they're 98 years old or 18 years old.
Put from the oldest to the youngest, the nicest to the meanest, the friendliest to the enemies.
There you go. That's good. Why is it important to go through this exercise of as comprehensive as possible? Why is that important?
You never know, it might change the way that the ones that are mean to you, might change the way they think about you in the end.
It's true.
Because if you want to do your enemies good, and you do good to your enemies, you know, good can come out of it.
That's true.
Yeah, and the reason why is because, you know, life changes and you don't know when somebody will be ready.
Timing.
And, yeah, they might not be ready right now, but though they might be ready in a couple months or something. And I wouldn't want to be the one that's left behind that nobody cared for. And,
So you knew this and you never told me?
yeah.
You know, all of these things are true, which you've said. One of the things that I see is one of the most valuable things about this exercise is it's not as much about like each person that you add there as it is for your own awareness. It is a skill of you increasing your awareness, and you are beginning to shift from who do I know to like, whoa, I know a lot of people. You see that phrase? It's like, as long as you're believing that you don't know a lot of people, you won't see it anywhere because you're not looking for it. But when you start asking, like, who do I know? Who, like, how? And then you begin to realize, I know a lot of people. You can say, I know a lot of people right now, even before you see that, because by believing, I know a lot of people, whether I see them all right now or not, it will help you to see all the people that you know. One's a limiting belief and one is a liberating belief. Every one of you knows a lot of people.
It's like the story of the berries.
Yeah, the right berries. Again with the timing.
It's again a limiting belief.
It's a limiting belief. So what this does is it lifts the limits that we place upon ourselves, and it helps us to become far more aware of like, whoa, I know a lot
Helps
more
us
people.
become leaders.
Yeah, and that's influence.
Mm.
What is the so if you do this right, how many people would this help you to? How many people would you be able to see?
A whole
On
lot
your
more.
list.
Hopefully everybody, but a whole lot more.
Oh man. Yeah, if you do this right, you should be able to see thousands of people on your list. What's up? You getting excited?
Yeah.
Me too. If you do this right, you should not 100, but thousands, and then you add at least two new people. I
So,
suggest doing 3.
The next thing that I want to learn how to do is follow up. Like, how do you follow up with so many people?
There's a whole chapter on that. Let's just go in order.
Okay, I'll have patience.
Because really the follow-up is after presenting. But we'll get there. Now, what is the 6 degrees of separation?
6 degrees of separation?
What
Did
is
you
that?
talk about that?
It's a theory. He did.
I
He
heard
talked
him
about it.
say that, but I don't remember. I didn't take notes on that part.
I didn't.
I know Mom
do
knows.
that.
Go ahead, Mom.
6 degrees of separation is like I know Tina, and Tina knows her mom, and her mom knows somebody else, and
So
6
6
degrees.
is like 6 people?
Yeah, 6 people away from any dream or desire that you have.
That's intense.
Yeah, like us
That's how
needing a
close we are
coder.
to it.
A coder for like funnel flicks to try to go through that. It's like we know someone who knows someone, and within 6 degrees we can find any of it. We can find any person, any skill, any like influence, any connection. Essentially within 6 people we know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows the president.
Wow.
We're not that far separated in society.
We think we are. We try to be sometimes.
And Facebook a lot of times kind of shows that. whenever you're looking at someone new, it says who's your mutual friends. That mutual friend is 1 degree of separation, and then their mutual friend is another degree. And so within 6 people, I mean, it's astronomical numbers. It's like, I know Desire knows Marilyn knows Francis. I don't know Francis, but going
Now I
through
know.
the doorways,
Yeah.
now I know Francis.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of cool?
It's real cool.
So that just takes like everyone you know
It
and
multiplies.
exponentially multiplies it. So there's unlimited. There's no limit to who we could meet.
Just imagine if everybody that you know, you only went 1 degree to know more people. How many people you would know? That would be
Yeah.
a lot of people.
What's
6 degrees.
step number 2?
Look at your list and think about the people who they know. So like this is the 6-degree thing.
Yeah. So it's who they know. That's step number 3.
This is step 2.
I'm sorry, step number 2. What's step number 3?
Add to your list every day.
Add to your list every